30 minutes of sleep, but you need to wake up right now. I wouldn't bother with your hair and makeup because you're going to look awful anyways. You are pathetic. Are you stressed yet? Are you awake yet? I'm sorry, are you having trouble breathing right now? That's because you're weak. Is it hard to breathe? You're gonna snap in two, and everybody's gonna think that you're a complete psycho.
I am losing my mind. The second I wake up, when my alarm goes off and I have a lot to do, the fear just kicks in immediately. My brain will start telling me everything that I need to do, and it will blow everything out of proportion and come up with the worst case scenario for everything that's going to happen throughout the day. My brain is almost telling me, hey, good luck. Good luck today. Good luck surviving the day. I'm here to make sure that you are just absolutely stressed out and freaked out your whole day, and then I'm gonna leave you on your own with it. So good luck. You know, I'll just be there along the way to remind you that you're a failure, that you're useless, and that you're weak. When you're in the middle of an anxiety attack, sometimes it's just so bad that there's no being reasoned with. Your brain is in fight or flight mode. Your heart is pounding. You feel like you're starved for oxygen, like you can't breathe. Your palms get sweaty. Sometimes your limbs go numb, and it's just a pit in the stomach, creates nausea, creates headaches. And sometimes it just creates a feeling that is so intense and so scary that you wish you could escape your own body, because essentially your body and your mind are at war with one another. Phobias are probably one of the least fun things to have. I have specific phobias, and most of mine stem from my anxiety, such as I have a phobia of flying. I have phobias of germs. I have phobias of crowded spaces, lots of people around. I have a really tough time with that. I think that there is a specific stigma around anxiety, depression, any kind of mental illness, that people should look a certain way, that people should look like they're sick. I know I've had people say too, well, gosh, you don't look sick, you don't look ill. I know there are days that sometimes I do because I'm tired, and sometimes it's gotten the best of me, but for the most part, part of me not letting anxiety win is to make sure that I get up and dress up and make myself look nice. I know sometimes that can be helpful, I think if I look better, I feel better. There are people out there who will look at anxiety and say, oh, well, snap out of it. You're weak, just be stronger, be a little bit stronger. You know, everybody's busy, everybody's stressed, everybody has a fast-paced life. It's just the way it is. What's wrong with you? Why can't you snap out of it? If I can do it, why can't you? I think that's frustrating for a lot of people, and I think that also, I think that can really hinder people from wanting to get help because they feel looked down upon, because they feel embarrassed, because they feel misunderstood. And therefore, they continue to suffer and they don't get the help they need. And I think that's where it gets worse. I think that's why for some people who say, oh, well, I have anxiety too, but you know, I still get through my day. I think those that have the physiological response to anxiety and the panic attacks, when they're not being heard and they're not being understood and they're being belittled about it, that's where they're being failed, and that's where they're failing to get help to be able to live a productive lifestyle. I think the biggest thing that's helped with my anxiety is a combination of finding the right therapist who I seem to have a good chemistry with and who understands me. Also, the medication does help. The medication definitely helps with the physical symptoms. And also, like I said, I'm a huge advocate for having some kind of a support group. Support means the world to me, and I know it means the world to a lot of other people, because a lot of people don't have that. So if you don't get support from your family members or from your loved ones or from friends, go find a support group. You can find them online. You can find them in your town. There's always support to be found everywhere. And I think that once you realize that you're not alone, that takes a lot of the burden off of your shoulders. And having somebody that you can talk to or call up and say, hey, you know, I'm just feeling really down right now. I'm about to have a panic attack and I could really use somebody to talk to. And somebody who knows what it's like, that can kind of help bring you back down to earth, is huge. When anxiety strikes and you're away from your comfort zone, it's one of the worst things that can pretty much happen to somebody with a panic attack disorder. So I carry around kind of like a little rescue kit that has my anti-anxiety pills in it, but it also has headphones. So sometimes if I'm in a situation where I can't get away, music helps. I'll put my headphones in, turn on some music, try to distract my brain before it gets too severe. One thing that I have learned about my anxiety throughout the years is that if I stay on top of it and I catch the anxiety attack before it turns into a full-blown physical panic attack, I can usually stave it off with these things that I have acquired. Whether it is deep breathing. Sometimes it's not the deep breathing that people think about, you know, in through the nose for 7 seconds, out through the mouth for 7 seconds. Sometimes it's just little shallow breaths, and the point is that you're focused on your breathing. So, and sometimes something as simple as chewing some gum, like I said, music, having headphones, things that can just pull you out of your negative headspace. It can be just as hard for the family members who don't have anxiety. And I think one of the biggest things that I can say to people that are living with a loved one who has anxiety is patience. Patience is huge. There are times when the person with anxiety is going to be very irrational. There are times when they're going to feel overwhelmed and frustrated, and sometimes they lash out. And I don't think they even necessarily mean to lash out at who they lash out to. It's not something that they mean to do. So patience is a huge thing. Patience can go a long way. And it is a two-way street. It is very much a two-way street where those who don't have anxiety need to try to understand the person who has the anxiety, but also the person who has the anxiety needs to also work to help their loved ones know how to cope. You know, they can tell them, if I'm having a panic attack, if I come to you, sometimes I just need the comfort. I just need a presence. I need somebody there to maybe rub my back, or just to say, hey, it's okay, or not hold my hand, you know? Sometimes the person who's suffering may have a panic attack where they feel like they need to be alone. And that's where the loved ones can come in and just say, okay, I will give you your space. If you need to be alone right now, that's okay. And if you need anything, you can come to me. So it's a two-way street. So I think just patience and communication are two of the biggest things when it comes to having a loved one with anxiety. When I first started having panic attacks, my mom was right there to help me. Unfortunately, she was kind of just as new to it as I was, and so we were both terrified. We were both very scared about what was going on with me, because there were a lot of sleepless nights at the very beginning there. I think that if a parent sees that their child is struggling, it's never too early to go get help, ever. It's never ever too early to go see a therapist, to go see a doctor, to go talk to somebody. Because I feel like that the earlier the intervention, the better the outcome. Just know that no matter what you suffer with, whether it's addiction, whether it's anxiety, depression, anything, that there is help out there. There is absolutely help out there. And it is not a hopeless situation. It feels like it. It definitely feels like that there's nothing out there that can help, but there is. And it can start with, as I've said before, something as simple as a support group. That can make a huge, huge impact in your life. And I know it did in mine. And for those who are living with people that are struggling, just put forth as much patience and understanding as you can. Go to therapy sessions with them. Join a support group yourself. There are support groups for people who take care of sufferers as well. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's not always very bright and it's not always easily seen, but it's definitely there. And just have faith, you know. If you're a believer in God, keep God close to you. He reaches down. If you reach up, he'll reach back down.